everyone, and welcome to ACC Senior Services. Today, we have a very special performance here, one like we've never had here at ACC. My name is Danny Lee, and I am the Lifelong Learning and Wellness Program Manager. And we are just really excited to have something different here. So, this is a really unique group. They write about Asian American communities and Asian American experiences. And I don't know about you all, but I don't know that I have heard anything like this since things have been happening in the world. There's lots of Asian American hate. There's lots of different things going on. And so we're just really excited to have them here and sort of a reminder in our community that this exists and this type of support exists. We also have a in-person audience today, and we are so happy that we can continue to do these hybrid events, which means we have in-person, but also the opportunity for people at home like you to watch at the same time. And so we're hoping to continue to do this throughout the winter, all into next year, and have programming that continues to increase seniors' quality of life and also increase social interaction in our community and bring everyone back here to ACC. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Peter and Wendy Horikoshi, accompanied by Kyle Kashima.
Thank you, thank you, Danny, and also Ted and Sean, and the in-studio audience. We'd like to present some songs here from the Asian American movement. And actually, we're not Yokohama, California. I'm one of the remnants of Yokohama, California, a band that was performing in the late '70s, and we actually had an album. Looks like this, which we made into a CD in 2016. Let's see. We're going to be featuring songs from A Grain of Sand, also known as Chris and Joanne and Charlie Chin, Yokohama, California. Philip Kangotanda, who's a playwright but is also a songwriter. The group Bamboo. Hot Cha, which is another group that Wendy and I played with together in the 1980s, and also a new group called Nono Boy, which has just kind of debuted in the last few years. I guess the question is, what is Asian American music, and how does it relate to the Asian American movement? First of all, it's not just the songs that we're going to present here today, not just those musicians. There's a lot of other Asian American musicians who have been involved with the movement, either by volunteering themselves or performing for benefits. It includes jazz musicians like John Jang, Francis Wong, Anthony Brown, Mark Izu, and Brenda Wong Aoki, who create music that speaks to the Asian American experience. It also includes, what's different from ethnic music like taiko and kulintang and okoto. Although, as you may know, taiko has been very popular as Asian American music, and there's groups like San Jose Taiko and many others who perform in their own communities. It's also different from what we like to think of as popular Asian American music. I think in the 70s and even before that, there were some Asian musicians in California who played in soul bands and pop bands and rock bands. So it's a little different from that. And even groups like Hiroshima, although they are very popular in the Asian American community, they don't speak directly to the Asian American experience. Not that we would exclude them from anything. They're such terrific musicians. My involvement in the movement started in the late '60s. With the struggle for Asian American studies and ethnic studies on college campuses. I attended UC Berkeley, and I was a little bit late for that, as Glenn Watanabe knows, because he was there during the Third World Strike. But I was the beneficiary of the struggle that was there. And I actually ended up majoring in Asian American studies. And people were not only doing things on campus, of course, they were doing things like ACC started doing. They were working in the community and doing programs for youth and seniors and others who needed help. I myself worked with an organization called the East Bay Japanese for Action, which is also celebrating its 50th anniversary like ACC is. And they are still offering services to mostly seniors these days. And like ACC, they offer some housing as well as other programs, fun things like ukulele and dancing and stuff. Let's see. What was the Asian American movement? Without giving a lecture about this, because of course we want to focus on the songs, being Asian American, saying that we're Asian American was a political statement, because before that the media didn't call us that. And I think maybe we didn't think of ourselves as that. When I was growing up in Florin here in the late 50s to the late 60s, I guess I thought of myself as a Japanese American. But in learning about the struggles and the history of other Asian Americans, I could see that we've all faced similar things in our history, our people have. We saw ourselves as part of the civil rights movement as well. It wasn't just blacks who now call themselves African Americans. It wasn't just Chicanos who now call themselves Latinx. And it wasn't just Native Americans who call themselves Indians or Native Americans now. We thought of ourselves as struggling together to try to make a better world. With that, we're going to start with the first song. It's called We Are the Children. And this was on the CD, or originally the album A Grain of Sand, which is available on Smithsonian Folkways Recordings. Really was kind of the first music that we heard when we were working in the communities, and really inspired us. And Chris and Joanna, and then later Charlie, started singing across the country, really, because they were frustrated with the way that things were in communities of color. And so they wanted to try to inspire people across the country. And the song started out as kind of a parody of stereotypes. It talks about migrant workers, concentration camps, railroad builders, Japanese gardeners. And then they realized, these are who we are. These are things that we can be proud of. And as Asian American musicians that I hung around with, we were just blown away that somebody was writing songs about us, and they were like us. And so they inspired us to start eventually making music. So this is called We Are the Children.
And this particular song, some of you may have learned it through the Lake Sequoia retreat, Asian camp. And we learned it, and we just smiled because we were in community and learning these things about ourselves. But we're going to sing it the way that Chris and Joanne wrote it, with attitude.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We are the children of the migrant worker. We are the offspring of the concentration camps, sons and daughters of the railroad builders who will leave their stamp on America. We are the children of the Chinese waiter, born and raised in the laundry room. We are the offspring of the Japanese gardener who will leave their stamp on America. Sing a song for ourselves. What have we got to lose? Sing a song for ourselves. We got the right to choose. We got the right to choose. We got the right to choose. Foster children watching more movies from the next door neighbors, secretly rooting for the other side. Sing a song for ourselves. What have we got to lose? Sing a song for ourselves. We got the right to choose. We got the right to choose. We got the right to choose. We are the cousins of the freedom fighters, brothers and sisters all around the world. We are a part of the third world people who will leave their stamp on America. Who will leave their stamp on America? Who will leave their stamp on America? Who will leave their stamp on America? America.
Thank you. So I grew up in Florin, South Sacramento, in the actual town limits of Florin back in the day, from the late 50s to the late 60s. My father was a minister at the Florin Japanese Methodist Church at the time. But I never knew when I was living there until recently about how the success of the Florin Japanese strawberry farmers led in part to the creation of segregated schools in the early 1900s. And as a result, they constructed some new schools. And of course, the new schools were not for the Japanese students. They were for the non-Japanese students. I also heard a story that the Japanese students, the bus that would pick them up, would take them to the other school, to the new school, and then they would have to walk to their school from there. So it wasn't a great time for them. I also never heard that Florin was one of the very few Japanese American communities that when World War II came and they had to evacuate, they split the town into 4 sections. And it's not a very large town. And each section was sent to a different area. Most of the other Japanese communities in California, they sent the entire community to a certain assembly center and relocation camp or incarceration camp. This next song is called Different Picture. And it was written by Robert Kikuchi and Goho. It's from the Yokohama, California album. And I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been asked, what are you? The question is really, have you never been asked, what are you? Well, Robert's father was of Japanese descent, and his mother was of Filipino descent. And so he must have heard this a lot when he was growing up. A different picture is his response to the question. He was frustrated with how the media portrayed us and how this affects Asian Americans. And 45 years later, we're still frustrated because, as you know, during the pandemic, anti-Asian violence has just exploded in areas that we felt pretty safe before. I think so Robert talks about painting a different picture. And it's also available on the Yokohama, California CD. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Can you tell me who I am, as if I didn't know? You have tried to paint my portrait, but the truth you failed to show. Just what image do you conjure when you look at me? Do the memories of Charlie Chan make you down American. If you do, well then, I'm not surprised that you don't know from which land my ancestors came. Or was it the Philippines, or maybe Japan? You give me that line that we all look the same. You have painted a different picture, it doesn't look a thing like me. Then you flashed it all through the media, so the only thing they will see is a lousy yellow, slanted-eyed fellow on your color TV. I know you've heard that one picture is worth 1,000 words, but even 1,000,000 have no meaning if the truth can't be heard. Well, I'll bet you think I'm an uppity coolie. Well, baby, you got it bad. It's about time for me to speak up. Get your burden off of my back. Like I've mentioned, you've been misled into believing lies, and you've been staring at a picture that's been painted with blinded eyes. Like a fool, they pull the wool over your eyes. And in the darkness you didn't hear about Manzanar or Tule Lake. Now it has been 80 years ago. You locked up more than a big mistake. And now can you tell me who we are? A people of the land. And it's a paint our own family portrait, brothers and sisters, hand in hand. We'll discover a different picture. I know you'll be surprised. For the first time you know the story that you've never heard before. People like me trying to be people like me trying to be free. People like me trying to be free.
Thank you.
Thank you. This next song is called The Asian American Dream, and it was written by Philip Khan Gotanda, who's a well-known playwright and has a CD that we produced of a concert that was actually from 1979, so quite a long time ago. And I recorded off of our PA system, and the cassette tape was 40 years old, but it still came out pretty decent. So I want to ask you now, when you were growing up, did your parents ever express what they wanted you to be in life? Perhaps a doctor or a lawyer or a pharmacist or a musician or a playwright or a storyteller? Maybe not those last three. But Philip actually went to law school, and I started playing with him in 1978 before he became a produced playwright. And he had just finished law school, which he admitted he did because his parents wanted him to. And so he felt like he had fulfilled his obligation. And then he was going to do what he really wanted to do, was to write plays and write music. And we first played in Fresno State in 1978, and that's actually where I met Wendy. My family knew her family, but I didn't know her at the time. And she was, you were the host, right, of the Asian American Festival there. Luckily, Philip decided to make his own path, to decide what he wanted to do. So this is called the Asian American Dream. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, la 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 la. Ooh, la 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 la. Well, it's an Asian American dream. Doctors and lawyers and dental hygiene. Well, it's an Asian American dream. Optometrists and pharmacists and engineering. Now, a quarter of a century, I think I paid my dues. This existential terrorism had given me the blues. And long ago a younger buck, a member of the race. But now that I am older, got to feed my own face. And now sometimes think I should go back to school. Become a dentist and lie by my pool. Marry a pharmacist and learn how to ski. Wait for a while and have a bourgeois baby. And it's an Asian American dream. MGB and Porsche and 280Z. It's an Asian American dream. A light blue BMW and a silver Mercedes. Though Papa is a gardener, he longed for these and other things that he would do if he were free. He say to me, education, get an education. It's an Asian American dream. MBA and CPA and MD and JD. It's an Asian American dream. A DDS and MSW and a PhD. Got my master's in plastics, my doctorate in degrees. But still suffering over achievement disease. And the more that I get, you know, the more that I got. But still put my fingers back into the pot. And there's violence to our silence and hunger and escape that cannot be forgotten and cannot be erased. And now face to faceless and time to choose. Did we outwhite the white man or did we really lose? It's an Asian American dream. A real estate investment and stock marketing. It's an Asian American dream. A bourgeois babies from a working class machine. My mama always had to sweep and scrub and clean. She never had the time to live and love and dream. She'd say to me, education, get an education. So I went back to school, I got my degree. Sailing in my sailboat, I think I'm finally free. And late at night now hiding in my fancy fur-lined hole. To get my pound of flesh, I see I had to sell my soul. Got to do more than feed my face and stay alive. 'Cause it really doesn't matter unless everyone arrives. And we can still have our fun and drink a cup of tea. But we got to keep on struggling if we want to stay free. It's an Asian American dream. Doctors and lawyers and dental hygiene. It's an Asian American dream. A bourgeois babies from a working class machine. Thank you.
This song is called The Foolish Old Man Who Removed the Mountains. And the Foolish Old Man is really a beautiful and lyrical song by the group Chris and Joanne, and Charlie Chin plays guitar on their original album. It is a song about the power of working together and perseverance. Help me with tomorrow, I'm depending on you. Peter first heard Charlie's guitar part after he had learned the song and was blown away by his licks. Charlie also has a wonderful singing voice, and his songs are available on Charlie Chin in concert at yokohamaca.com. Okay. The song is based on a story from the Little Red Book by Chairman Mao.
So in the 70s, I think a lot of people in the movement were sort of oriented towards China, looking to China as an example of maybe a different way of doing things. So we thought about maybe the equality of what was considered the communist way of doing things. And so we learned a little bit about Chairman Mao at the time and the Little Red Book. And there's a story in it called The Foolish Old Man Who Removed the Mountains. And in the story, there's a foolish old man and a wise old man. And the foolish old man lives right next to a mountain, and it's blocking his view. And so one day he takes a shovel and a bucket, he goes out to the mountain, and he starts digging up some dirt, putting it into the bucket. The wise old man sees him and says, "What are you doing?" And the foolish old man said, "Well, I'm moving the mountain, bucket by bucket." And the wise old man said, "Well, that's foolish, you can't do that." And the foolish old man said, "Well, as big as the mountain is, it can't grow any taller. And if I dig and take the shovel and the bucket and move the dirt aside, and my sons and my grandsons do that after me, and my daughters and my granddaughters also do that, then we can move this mountain." Of course, logic says that actually mountains can grow taller, but that's beside the point. So this is called The Foolish Old Man. It's about working together.
Doesn't matter if it can come true. Just let your answer go. I'm depending on you. Even though I know mountains can be moved. I've heard a story of a fool who tried, a fool who tried and proved.
step we take gets us farther from where we are, where we are.
Where we've been and what we've done
has brought us here and now. Today is only one day more till tomorrow afternoon. Let's see it in together. Tonight will soon be through. Help me with tomorrow. I'm depending on you. I'm depending on, we're depending on, I'm depending on you. Thank you. This next song is from the Yokohama, California album, and it's called Tanforan. And the name Yokohama, California actually came from a book by Toshio Mori called Yokohama, California, that he actually wrote in the late 30s and early 1940s. And he actually, he'd been looking for a publisher for many years, and he found one in Idaho, and they were going to publish it in 1942. And of course the war happened and evacuation happened, and the publisher said, you know, have faith, we will publish it, but it's just not the right time. So it was finally published in 1949. But it told stories about Japanese Americans in the 1930s in the East Bay communities that they called Little Yokohama. And we thought that our music was trying to do similar things, to tell stories about ourselves. And so with Tanforan, I wrote it with Sam Takimoto, who was the only female member of the group. And I was living in Berkeley at the time, and she had come over to practice some songs, and she said, you know, I was just shopping over at Tanforan. Have you ever been there? And I said, no, but did you know that not only was it a racetrack, but it was an assembly center where Japanese Americans, most of the ones in the Bay Area, were sent to in World War II. And, you know, we were in our late teens, early 20s, and she said, no, I had no idea. And so we sat down and we wrote this song about us not knowing about our own history. Wendy's mother's family was also sent to Tanforan, and Kyle's father's family was also sent there before they were sent to Topaz in Utah. The shopping center now, I don't know if you've heard, but recently it was sold, and it's slated to be turned into a high-tech workspaces now. And so there won't be people shopping there so much. But there's a memorial that's been being constructed there, and that's one of the reasons why that's really so important, is because now that the shopping center is not there and there won't be as many people going over there, that history could be lost otherwise. So if you get a chance, should take a look. It's between the San Bruno BART station and the Tanforan Shopping Center. And on the CD and on the record, Steve Yamaguma, who wasn't officially a member of the band, but he played bass on the record and when we were performing, his bass part, as well as the vocals at the beginning of the song, are very memorable to me.
And Kyle's going to be playing that bass part for us. Is anybody home? I thought somebody lived here.
Once upon a time, there were people in this place,
But that was long ago.
and now you'll never know that they were even here, and memories are unclear today.
Today. such a long time since I've called you home. Tanforan, Tanforan, is anybody home? Well, it's been such a long time past, and now you're calling me home. I went to Tanforan yesterday, horses on the run, seeing people that I know, betting all for fun. But I know another Tanforan they will never see. Early in 1942, it was home for me.
Is anybody home? Is anybody there? Or is it just that nobody cares? Is anybody home? Is anybody there? Sometimes I wonder where we're going, where we're going. Tanforan, Tanforan, where do you belong? Lost somewhere in America. Where did she go wrong? Tanforan, Tanforan, well, trying to see behind you, deeply buried within our past. Will we ever find you? Is anybody home? Is anybody there? Or is it just that nobody cares? Is anybody home? Is anybody there? Sometimes I wonder where we're going, where we're going. Horses stalling, that ain't all. What did you see there? Crowded rooms for everyone. Tell me, is that fair? Now the horses return to race. Lay that money down. Are you scared to lose your place? Is there something that you can face? Is anybody home? Is anybody there? Or is it just that nobody cares? Is anybody home? Is anybody there? Sometimes I wonder where we're going.
Once upon a time, there were people in this place.
Thank you. Here's another song from Robert Kikuchi and Goho, and it's also on the Yokohama, California album and CD. It's called Manongs of Walnut Grove. And you may know Walnut Grove is a little town kind of southwest of Sacramento. And it honors the Filipino elders who moved to America and worked so hard so that their families could have a better life. When we were working together, playing together in Yokohama, California, I wrote like maybe one song every 6 months to a year. And we got together maybe once a month, and almost every time Robert had written a new song. He's very prolific and good songwriter, terrific songwriter. So he went to visit Walnut Grove, and he came back and you know, he said, "Oh, I got this new song." So, you know, we tried it out. It's really a very nice song. We have some personal connections to Walnut Grove as well. My father, as I said before, was a minister at the Florin Japanese Methodist Church. And once a month we drove to Walnut Grove to hold a Sunday afternoon service for the very small congregation there. And I remember as a kid, my sister and I, who were close to the same age, we would kind of play around in the yard, and they would have the service in the afternoons. But Steve Aoyang and Jeff Leong, who played with us, Wendy and I, in the group Hot Cha later, Steve actually lived in Walnut Grove when he was a young boy. And Jeff's mother grew up in Locke next door. And also Kyle has a connection because Isleton is also very close. And he has a family connection there too. So, called Manongs of Walnut Grove.
There's a town by the river, hidden through the years. The tourists say it's a riverside ghost town. Take a snapshot here. The daddies look at this and they look at that. The mommies point from the roll down windows. They don't see that this town is alive. Passing through on their Sunday drives, surprised the most to find no ghosts, but the living have always been here.
Brick walls about to tumble down, shingle and tin roof, timber town. Manong sitting on the porch alone, never complains, but he calls it home. Recalling days when the crops were good, his weathered hands now whittle wood, to and fro in a rocking chair, thinking back when he first came here. He dreams of once and loving haunts, and his spirit has always been here. Walnut
Grove, the river flows. You're not a ghost town like most towns I know. Though time may change your people, hopefully we will grow. So we will not forget. We will not forget our people in Walnut Grove. Filipino man with a fishing pole, sitting on the pier.
He used to be a boy on a cargo ship with all his hopes and all his fears. He was bound for America. A fantasy of so long ago, and now we see him here waiting for his next meal on the river and Walnut Grove, catching dreams. So lonely he seems, but his hopes have always been here. There's a place I'll remember, it's not too far from here, where I held the hand of an elder as he spoke of yesteryear, telling me of the changing times, day and night and right and wrong. And even if someday this town is forgotten, I know his voice will carry on, and his face I'll see in a memory, and his words will always be here. Walnut Grove, the river flows. You're not a ghost town like most towns I know. Though time may change your people, hopefully we will grow. So we will not forget, we will not forget our people at Walnut Grove. Thank you.
Our next song is A Song for the Pioneers. This song was by the group Hacha, and it encourages us to share our stories and our songs to keep our history alive. Hacha started in the mid-1980s with Kent Horry, Diane Yenmei Wong, Jeff Leong, and later Steve Oyang, who were all attorneys and who listened to their parents in taking that and going for those jobs. And then also the non-attorneys, Peter and myself. So Hacha started at the after party presented as teriyaki tunes and mochi melodies. Okay, and it was held at the Asian American Theater Company in San Francisco. We had been asked by Robert Kikuchi and Goho to play some songs with him. And Kent, Diane, and Mike Sasaki of Cold Blood fame. So we enjoyed playing it with them so much that we formed the band Hacha. Although Robert and stayed in his own band with Mike called the Nobodies. Diane wrote the lyrics to this song, and Peter and I added the music. Such a great tribute for Asian pioneers who worked hard and sacrificed so much so that we could have a better life. It is a story of immigrants in America, no matter which Asian country they came from. And I think you will hear the similar themes from persons who immigrated from groups, other groups, and continue coming to the United States. From Hacha performance and rehearsals, Peter has recordings of what he is hoping to release in digital form. It will include several original songs that we wrote and performed. And just a small note, it is not available yet.
One, two, three, four.
We sing the song laws kept them single until their lives grew old. We sing the song of women who live their lives in shame, keeping company for strangers, never knowing any man's name. Our songs, they have no endings, they continue to speak our minds. All the words and the melodies have kept our history alive, have kept our history alive. We sing the song of pioneers, farming lands till dawn. Relocation took away their homes, their hopes and dreams were gone. We sing the song of women toiling on the farm, cooking, tilling, praying, vainly to keep away harm. Our songs, they have no endings, they continue to speak our minds. All the words and the melodies have kept our history alive, have kept our history alive. Our songs, they have no endings, they continue to speak our minds. All the words and the melodies have kept our history alive, have kept our history alive. Our parents teach us every song, we learn the truths they bring. The message that they carry comes through the songs we sing. Continue writing down our words, we'll keep the melody. No one can take away our tunes, they live inside of me. Our songs, they have no endings, they continue to speak our minds. All the words and the melodies will keep our history alive, will keep our history alive. Thank you. This next song is called Hot August Morning. And I wanted to say, when I first talked to Ted about performing here, we had set the date, and the one thing I forgot to ask him is what the weather was going to be like. And as we got real close to the date, it turned out it was going to be over 110, turned out to be 116, and we said, you know, Ted, I think maybe it's better if we postpone just a little bit. And of course, today, there's a little bit of rain, cool 70 or low 70s. It's only about 45 degrees cooler. That's hard to imagine, that difference in temperature. But this song is called Hot August Morning, and I started writing it at the Lake Sequoia retreat in 1972.
And that was a Japanese, historically Japanese-American Christian summer camp. It was held in the Sequoias National Park east of Fresno. And I stayed overnight in Herndon, kind of west of Fresno, at the Morita's house, and before driving up to the summer camp. And I opened the front door, and as you can imagine in the summertime, even in Sacramento, you open the front door at 8:30 in the morning, and a warm blast of air is going to hit you. And I was thinking about how Florin, where I grew up, and Fresno, and Hiroshima are all hot in August. The song's about how we are connected and yet not connected to Hiroshima. We weren't Japanese, we were Japanese-American. We were American, and yet we didn't personally drop the bomb on Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and yet we are still connected to what happened. It's affected us and our families and our communities. I went to they had a commemoration in 1970 for the bombing, and that was now 52 years ago. There's some beautiful harmonies on this song, even though it's about such a horrible subject. And so we're going to try to do that for you today. And it starts with a poem, and Kyle's going to play the keyboards for this part. 1, 2, 3, 4. A hot August morning in Fresno. But not if you're a Fresno Jap. Hot if you're from Berkeley and used to colder weather. Got up at 8:30 a.m., sun shining, and time to go. So I stepped outside, and a warm blast of air hit me. Refreshing for a country boy becomes city boy, but still the air, a funny feeling, the air is quiet, still, and silent. It feels like Hiroshima might have felt on that hot August morning. Sun beating down on my brown skin, just like kids in Florin trying to be the darkest tanned. A hot August morning in Livermore. I remember the Hiroshima-Nagasaki commemoration in 1970. Across from the radiation laboratory, we shared a minute of silence for those in Hiroshima 25 years before, now 76 years before. But still the same funny feeling, quiet, still, and silent. Check the skies for B-29s that would not come today. A hot August morning in Hiroshima. What more can I say? Central Valley's all sunshine, but still something feels so strange. It feels so strange. The early morning sun feels good, my colors showing like it
6, 1945. Hiroshima's so alive, but then it happened so very fast. The atomic blast for B-29s that would not come today. On August morning in Hiroshima, what more can I say? Hiroshima, why did they burn you? Hiroshima, when will they learn? Hiroshima, I feel the pain in you. Hiroshima, was it in vain? Check the skies for B-29s that would not come today. On August morning in Hiroshima, what more can I say? Nagasaki on August 9. Why did they do it a second time? In Nagasaki, as the war ended, they opened a wound that will never mend. Check the skies for B-29s that would not come today. Hot August morning in Hiroshima, what more can I say?
Thank you.
So this song is taken from a poem that I wrote. It's called Grandma, My Strong Woman. And my grandmother's name was Aki Suzuki, and she and my grandfather started a farm in Cressy, California, part of the Yamato colony, the Japanese community created by Mr. Yas Abiko of the Japanese newspaper in San Francisco. My grandparents were a complementary couple. Grandpa was the visionary, and my grandma, the physical strength and grit. This song is a loving tribute from the grandchildren, and today Kyle's keyboard arrangement evokes the Okoto sound from Rokudan, a 6-part practice song very well known throughout the history. And it's the song that my grandmother taught us on the Okoto. Rokudan is the oldest Okoto piece. You might also be able to identify a couple of other Japanese songs with Kyle's keyboard fills. Living with my grandmother, we learned about hard work, cooking, music, and the arts. She taught many of her granddaughters how to play the okoto, the 13-string zither-like instrument, which we played on the floor. My obasan, or grandmother, led us with the shamisen, a 3-stringed instrument cradled in her arms, while all of us sat on a zabuton, or pillow. She would say, "Utai nasai," which means sing, and she meant that throaty classical voice, which I never used, as was too timid or perhaps too embarrassed to try and learn. I kind of regret that now, as she had an amazing voice. I think that my aunt, Pat Suzuki, may have inherited that incredible voice from my grandmother. Pat Suzuki was well known, starring in the Broadway flower drum song, musical. Grandmother had deep black hair, even when undergoing chemotherapy and losing much of it. Dark black hair grew back. So the chorus is 2 lines repeated, and I'll teach it to you, so hopefully you'll sing along with us. The words to the chorus are, "Ipen moi pen, I'll sing for you again," and then we repeat it. Okay? And "Ipen moi pen" means one more time. And she would say this after we finished playing the song, and then we would play it again, and then she would say it again, and this would continue. "Ipen moi pen." Okay. Ipen moi pen, I'll sing for you again. It repeats. Ipen moi pen, I'll sing for you again. Shamisen besabuton, utai no sai, you say, quietly singing with the okoto, I follow behind as you play. Sing with us. Ipen mo ipen, I'll sing for you again. Ipen mo ipen, I'll sing for you again. Country Obasan with shovel and hat, hobbling through the rows, directing the trickling waters, singing as she goes. Ipen mo ipen, I'll sing for you again. Ipen mo ipen, I'll sing for you again. Ebony black hair forever, hiding silver strands. Some years ago you left us, your grandchildren bow for you.
Sing ooh. Ipen mo ipen, I'll sing for you again. Ipen mo ipen, I'll sing for you again. Thank you. Now we're going to go back to the future. From the 1980s to about 2020, there really didn't seem to be much new, what I call Asian American movement music. But then around 2018, 2019, we heard of this group called No Boy. The primary songwriter for No Boy is Julian Sapariti. He's a Hapa Vietnamese, grew up in Tennessee. He first sang with Aaron Aoyama when they were both PhD students at Brown University. He's now singing with Amelia Halverson in the Portland area, and she's attending law school, so I guess they listen to their parents also. He was conducting graduate research in Wyoming, first about a massacre of a Chinese town, and later discovering Hart Mountain near east of Yellowstone. And so he started writing songs about Asian Americans, and really the first group that I've heard that lyrically the lyrics of the songs talked about the Asian American experience. And of course, at the time I couldn't believe, that there's somebody who's doing this again. And I was joking that when I asked all my friends, to try to get somebody to come play with us here, I've known a lot of folks over the years, but I guess maybe I'm the last OG of Asian American movement music. Other people are still around and they're still doing things. Some people have unfortunately passed on. But here we are, we're still playing anyways. Wendy and I met Julian and Aaron at an event and sang with them about 3 years ago. And then Julian asked me to come sing with he and Amelia in February of 2020, just as the pandemic was starting. And so that's the last time we saw them. And I want to share more of their music. Hopefully, the Asian Community Center will invite us back and we can share more music. Or even better, I hope that they can invite Julian and Amelia to come sing. They're a terrific group. They got a lot to share. And it's not that far from Portland to here, so I hope so. I wanted to feature one of his Vietnamese stories. He's written about Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Hmong, Khmer. This one's a little different though. It's called Tell Hanoi I Love Her. And it displays a different perspective that perhaps his generation shares that maybe his parents' generation didn't. Many of those who immigrated to the U.S. Fled to escape the new communist regime. And many of their children, though, are not as conservative as they are. So this can, as with the story of many immigrants, this can bring conflict within families. So Kyle's actually going to sing this song. And it's available on the Nono Boy CD titled 1975. And this is available on Smithsonian Folkways Recordings. Terrific album, got great songs. He also has one called 1942, and you can actually look him up on YouTube. Look for Nono Boy Project. They have a website as well where they actually stream the entire 1942 CD with a lot of graphics supporting the music. So very... no, actually 1942 is on there. Is 75 on there as well? Oh, I don't know. This is 75. Oh, okay.
Twice southern with 2 civil wars. A fool to think that this place could ever be yours. The in-between, that's where we must explore. Tell Hanoi I love her. Jenny's mother in the nail salon. Bedazzled star-spangled t-shirt, tiger mom. Saw the flag on my hat, told me to take it off. Tell Hanoi I love her. I keep no grudge against some old world kin. Not letting go now, that's the boat is out fussing. I named my Chrysler after Ho Chi Minh. Tell Hanoi I love her. Do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. last election cast a ballot for 45. If I'd seen what she's seen, I might see her side. Tell Hanoi I love her. I dream of junks, oh, to sail away. Wash her feet on a beach in Halong Bay. My mother said once that's where dragons lay. Tell Hanoi I love her. Do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. We bleed as cheap as our enemy, and we die just as needlessly. Once I thought there was just one of me. Tell Hanoi I love her. Fumble with numbers, I just wanna sing. Ain't nothing sadder than some book with an American dream. Sometimes I think the most communist things. Tell Hanoi I love her. Tell Hanoi I love her. Tell Hanoi I love her.
The song is called Tomorrow is Coming Again. It's written by Mike Okagaki of Yokohama, California. I first met Mike in 1972, the year that ACC was founded, so 50 years ago, at the Lake Sequoia retreat that I talked about before. Incidentally, this is actually where I heard Glenn Watanabe sing and play first. And I was a young teen, and I was learning how to play guitar. And at that point, he could play anything that I ever wanted to be able to play. So he's still a terrific musician. So thanks, Glenn. And Glenn's actually the one who got us invited over here. So thanks very much, Glenn. When I met Mike, he was 15 or 16 and just learning how to play guitar too. My parents were at the Wesley United Methodist Church in San Jose, and that's where Mike lived. And so after the camp, I would go down and visit my parents and also play music with him. And that's really kind of the beginning of what later became Yokohama, California. Although we weren't writing our own songs then, we were learning other songs. It's the last song on the album, and it's kind of a stealth song. And I say that because he didn't tell us he was writing this song. He hadn't written any other songs before this. And he kind of snuck into the studio, and it was just him playing guitar and him singing. And the significance of the lyrics, I didn't really think they were very deep at the time because it was about a relationship that he had just gotten over. But it's become more evident to me in the recent past that it can also apply to all the things that I've seen and we've seen in the Asian American movement over the years. There have been some wonderful moments. There's been some times of despair because the change that we worked for wasn't coming fast enough. And also hope for better times as tomorrow is on the horizon again. I want to thank all the friends that I've played with over the years, but especially Wendy and Kyle today. We've had about 5 rehearsals and started out a little rough and trying to decide what songs to sing. And certainly to Ted, Danny, and Sean of the ACC Music Makers program. Thank you very much for inviting us to come and perform today. And congratulations to the Asian Community Center. 50 years and still making a significant difference. And we're hoping that you'll want to donate to ACC, which is certainly welcome. And we also are offering something today, and that is for people who want to purchase the set of 3 CDs that I've produced. Yokohama, California, Philip Kangotanda in concert and Charlie Chin in concert. All the proceeds from this will go to ACC today. So 3 CDs for $35, and just write your check out to ACC, send it in, and to the people in the studio audience, we also have some here for you. So thank you again. And so this song is called Tomorrow is Coming Again.
And though I remember those days very well, I'll always forget their faces. And sun always comes when the nighttime subsides, and love eases all the doubts.
Morning will carry your darkness away, warmth and the golden day, flooding your blues away. And tomorrow is coming again. I looked for a reason and sifted the lies, but the answers I found surely turned and waved goodbye. And tomorrow is coming again. Reflections won't guide you when you're moving ahead. The past will deceive you, she can spin you round your head. But tomorrow is coming again. And tomorrow is coming again. Thank you very much. Well, they did say Hanaho. We have something just in case people ask for an encore. If you want one more.
Do you need to do a sound check with the flute? No? This is okay? Okay, all right, all right. Okay. Let's do it. You can just play C. Yeah. Above B flat.
Well, thank you very much for asking for Hanaho. This is a song by Robert Kikuchi and Goho called Bamboo. Robert wrote this song about the positive aspects of being Asian, as exemplified by bamboo, versus being non-Asian, as in an oak tree. The creativity of Sam's vocal parts still impresses me. We would try to sing a song and Robert would have a melody, and then Sam would have this completely different part that always seemed to fit just perfectly. And she had such a beautiful voice. And the blending of the voices makes this song very easy to hear. And it's a simple message that many people can understand. So it's called Bamboo. 1, 2, 3, 4.
but I'm sure that a lot of folk, they will agree. Something about the quiet strength in you, something about the beauty of bamboo. We are somewhat like bamboo, not like gold. There's a lot that we can do. It may seem pretty small, but the biggest gust of wind won't make us fall. Ain't no need for people to be 10 feet tall. Proud to be like bamboo, not like oak at all. Stand like an oak, but I'm sure that a lot of folk, they will agree. Something about the quiet strength in you, something about the beauty of bamboo.
Thank you very much.